Rabbi Kaplan, please.
Hello.
Yes.
Okay. Now, hello, I should
Yeah, we're
start.
here. We're on the air.
I don't hear you.
We're on the air.
Okay. I didn't know what to talk about tonight, and all of a sudden it came in my head an idea to talk about the concept of schok. It doesn't belong to now. Now is we're getting close to Shivas or Betamus, and it's a time of Avelus. And the concept of schok, of laughter, of joking, is something that belongs to Chodesh Oder. But it came in, it was Minashamayim, it was put into my head to talk about this. And maybe because we're definitely very close to the Ozi Malay Schok Pinu. We're to be a Mashiach, we're very close. These mamash any days coming, and the Tzadikei Adar say like that any day is coming. And when he comes, it's going to be Ozi Malay Schok Pinu. Now, what does schok mean? A joke. There's such a thing as leitzonas. Leitzonas, that's a big pagam. That's a terrible thing. Leitzonas means to make fun of something. Like something could be holy. Like Shalom Aleichem wrote in one of his stories about some yeshiva boy that he wanted to be a maskil, so he went and he took the boxes of his that you put the tefillin in, and he went to the beach and he filled them with sand, because then he'll measure how much sand fits into that, and then he'll multiply the amount of how big the sea is, the beach is, and he'll know how much sand. And like it's like some kind of a making fun of the tefillin, of the boxes. It's one of the terrible averas to make fun of things, and that was the poisonous weapon that the maskilim used to fight against the frumma Yidden. And actually, it says by Amalek, the Chazal dash in the posuk, let's take it, that goes in Amalek. Amalek is late son. I mean, one of the sides of the klipa of Amalek is late sons. But that's one thing. But there's such a thing as chok. To lightheartedness is something that's necessary sometimes to be mesamech yourself. Gedolei Olam used to say vertlach. Vertlach is like light things to be mesamech. Even the Chazon Ish, one of the Gedolim of the last generation, he used to say vertlach to be mesamech. Although the Briskerov, I don't think said any vertlach. I don't think he...
Rabbi Kaplan.
What?
Of course, you have to mention the greatest vertlach joke man in the entire Torah world by far is Rabbeinu Yoel of Satmar.
So he used to say a lot of vertlach, and Milanu Golov from the Satmar Rov, he was what Rav Hutner said, a lion from before the Mabul. You know this story.
Well, tell our listeners.
Oh, I should tell the listeners. So they say that Rav Hutner was sitting at a Asifa of Rabbonim, and the Satmar Rav was there, and he started yelling and screaming about a certain issue. And Rav Hutner kept quiet. So afterwards, Rav Hutner said, I had what to answer him. But he said I didn't answer him. Why? Because Rashi says that why does it say Vaishor Ach Noach? Because Noach was groaning from pain. Ach, he was screaming Ach, because the lion bit him. Because he brought the food late to the lion, so the lion bit him. So Satmarov said, why did he get such a honest to get bitten? He was very busy. So he says, Because you have to know you don't start up with a lion from before the Mabul. The last lion left that was still there before the Mabul. You don't start up with him. And that was the Satmarov. He said he's a lion from before the Mabul, before the Holocaust. And definitely you see it. I always would say it. You see his gawness in his form. So he used to say Vertlach a lot. He must have been, he wanted to create a pleasant atmosphere around
Rabbi
him.
Kaplan.
That's why he did it. There's many different ways by tzaddikim, like I'm saying. The Briskerov never, I don't think he said any Vertlach. It was always aim of a year was around the Briskerov. But there was others that were different. And, so I'm saying that's the union of schok is now. What does it mean, a joke? A joke is that you make up a story. And not only that you make up a story, that you can make up a story, that's one thing. You can make up a serious story. We could say somebody was walking in the forest by himself and a lion came and he got scared and he ran away. You can make up a story. But a joke is not just you make up a story, you make up a ridiculous story. Something ridiculous. And it makes people laugh that Hashem made a teva like that, when you hear this ridiculous, and you could ask, like, why should you laugh? Why should you be megiv? Why should you react to something that never happened? I always say, from when I'm a child, I used to see my mother reading all these novels, always reading a novel, these little books. I used to ask, how could you read these things? If it's not true, it never happened. So how can you read something that never happened? Of course, it has to do with the teva of people. Some people are more, what we call earthy, more down to earth, like me. So I can't understand. If it's not reality, I don't understand how you could read it.
Well, your mother's a Libra, air, like we talked about last time.
So it doesn't matter, air. So you make up something and you read it. So she's able to read it. So I'm saying, so this is the same thing as over here. Make up something that never happened. But not only that, it's ridiculous. And that makes people laugh. But as a male, it's misameach as a breeze. Now, I just saw a joke. Now, I have this book over here in English. That the name of the book is Jewish Folklore, written by Nosson Osbald. And this book was printed the first time in 1948 in America. And I found the book in one of these piles where somebody that he brings old books and he puts a box, says every book for 5 shekel, for 10 shekel. And I saw this book, I picked it up and I put in the 10 shekel, whatever it was. And I knew that I'll find some good things in it. Now, in this book, there's a joke like this. That there was once an old woman that was very, very sick and she was dying. So they brought a Rav that came and the Rav said Vidur with her. He said Vidur. When he finished saying Vidur, so she said, can I, now that you're finished, can I take a glass of water or do I have to die right away? Am I allowed to make a hefsek and take a glass of water? And he said, what's funny about it is that's ridiculous. Okay, now what I want to say is there's a lot of jokes. If you think about it, you could learn something from it. That means the joke comes to tell you some kind of a hashkafa, some kind of an understanding about a certain aspect of life. There was once a story, it really wasn't once a story, but it's a joke. There was once that somebody in Germany, there was a Yid, that he was on the 8th Chazer, I came to the Rav, and he asked him for a tikkun, like, what am I going to do at 8th Chazer? So the Rav told him, I'll give you a tikkun. You should, every day after davening, you want to run home right away after davening. No, don't run home. Stay in shul and say 2 brokim of Tehillim. And that, it's for a Jew in Germany, for a German Jew, that's a tremendous effort, a strain. It's time to go home, and you're going to stay in shul and say 2 brokim Tehillim, and you'll do that for a year, 2, whatever, and that'll be a tikkun for you. It'll be a kapar on the avera you did at Yeit Chazit. Very good, so he did it then. A while later, it came a Yid from Lithuania, came to Germany. Yid, and he went to shul daven shachas. After davening, he sits down and he says a lot of Tehillim. Now he was a Yid, so he said a lot of Tehillim. He stayed there a long time. This German Yid, he sat there 5 minutes after davening. For him, Lefi his matzah, the 5 minutes is a big effort. This Yid stayed maybe half an hour after davening and said to him. So the German Yid says, wow, how much chazer he must have eaten. What is this? I mean, it's funny, but there's an idea that you can see from this joke. The idea is to make fun of people, which is the Gemara calls it leitzanusa d'avodah zarah, to make fun of avodah zarah, to make fun of people who are wrapped up in themselves. You see it a lot. That certain people that they can only look at the world through themselves, through their own experiences. I mean, try to stop thinking about yourself. Think about the other person. Think about how he looks at it. I mean, let's say the Moshe Bass and Kolo, there are 2 people that learn let's say, in the morning Seder, they learn together. They're screaming at one another, screaming the whole time. And you could think, what are they already screaming about? They're screaming about Aleph Beis. They're not screaming, not a deep intellectual argument. Simple things they're screaming about. I mean, but if you understand their backgrounds, you'll know that this one of them is, he has a very weak head, and he comes from Tel Aviv originally, and he probably didn't have to get money. His father was hard-working, he was a carpenter, and he probably didn't go to such a good cheder. Together with that, he's not so smart, this person. And together with that, he's also stubborn. So he says things, and he asks things in the Gemara. And then the other one yelled, and they yelled back, and yelled back, and yelled back and forth, back and forth. And people say, what are they yelling for? Why do they have to yell? Yeah, but I mean, that's because to me, also I say, why do they have to yell? To me, because the Gemara is simple. So what do they have to yell about simple things? You have a good kasha, you have a Rabbi Akiva's kasha, and you want to say a teretz so you can argue. There's place for screaming at one another, but to scream about if aleph is an aleph and a base is a base, for that you have to scream. But that's how I'm looking at things from my point of view. But you have to know there are other people, and there are different kinds of people in the world, and they were built different, they were made different. So according to the way this one's small brain, and the other one is he went to a good cheder 80 years ago, or 70 years ago. But he should know that what's the use of screaming at him if he has a weak mind, he has a thick skull. So what's the use in screaming? Just wait, let him say his thing, and then either you shake your head or just say it benachas. So no, but
Rabbi Kaplan, Well, we're taking a break now. Thank you.